Hey there, friend. Welcome back to another edition of Premier Investments in Wealth Management Financial Program. My name is Doug Wagner. I'm your host. I'm going to introduce you to the two gentlemen here at the table with me in just a matter of moments. But first of all, I need you to ask yourself a question. Am I ready for retirement? Well, you know what? If you're like most people, you probably don't know, which is why you need to talk to my friends at Premier Investments in Wealth Management. And it's very easy. You don't even have to do this. You can just do this and go to premieriwm.com, click Get Started once you're on the page, answer a few questions, and they'll provide for you a one-page Premier Vision document and a free meeting to go over that document. It's like a roadmap. You go on a summer trip. Well, hey, let's go on a trip to your retirement. What's going to take to get from here to there? What are all the rest stops and the hotels, and what are all the restaurants you can go to between here and your retirement? It's sort of the way it works. And they'll even give you the document to walk out of the meeting with. You know what? I'm a client of theirs. I think you're going to want to be too. premieriwm.com. Get started. The free Premier Vision document and that meeting in person and here in the office. They'll come to you. They'll do it over the internet as well. Whatever you'd like, just get in touch with them. Again, premieriwm.com, or you can call to make your appointment, 800-383-6590. That's 800-383-6590. Premier Investments in Wealth Management, named to Forbes 2026 Best in State Wealth Management Team. Introducing to my right, wealth advisor with over 31 years of experience in the investment industry. He is a fellow NL Central fan, Jonas Everett.
Hi, Doug. How you doing?
Doing well. How about you today, buddy?
Great. I'm glad you brought the road trip analogy up, because we used to always say at the office that people spend more time on their family vacation than they do their retirement.
Yeah.
Which how crazy is that? So that's one of the reasons why we came up with this show, to kind of educate and inspire people to not only think about their retirement a little bit more, but kind of write things down and get into the planning stage. And if you're able to do 5 hours of planning for your family vacation over the summer, let's go ahead and do 5 hours of planning for your retirement. It just makes sense.
You've inspired me. Now let's educate people.
Absolutely.
All right? We'll do that with Elias Randel. He's over next to Jonas. He's Vice President of Wealth Advisors, Certified Exit Planning Advisor as well, and the new sheriff in town. How you doing, Elias?
Howdy, Doug.
Howdy. I'm waiting for the 6-shooters to come out and the star right there. Howdy. I love it.
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Good.
Love
How's
being
your
on
summer
the show.
going?
Well, we just got back from the St. Louis Zoo, so that was a wonderful trip.
Yeah.
Very nice time. Mm-hmm. I did not know, but the admission at the zoo is free.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that until we got there.
Did you do the Field Museum where they have all that crazy?
No, it was
the
a
crazy
one-day
slides. Oh, okay,
it was a one-day trip. So we stayed at an Airbnb out in the country, about 2 hours away from St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Went into the zoo and then back glamping. We're not really a camping family. We like to live indoors.
Yeah, I understand.
But we got it. It was out in the country, so it was set up kind of like camping, but in a house.
It's so funny because I still would love to have you one time just do a fifth wheel vacation, just so you could say, because I still love that story. Maybe we'll get into that story throughout the show here. That's one of the greatest stories I've ever heard.
Never know. Maybe I will buy a fifth wheel someday and drive around the country.
Be awesome. That's so cool. Premier Investments in Wealth Management. Not only is there a lot of information here between these two and the rest of the staff, but man, there's a lot of information on that website too. They've got the Investor's Guide series there for nearly any thing that you're thinking about, whether it's retirement, whether it's the Rothification, whether you got 401ks, you're looking at how your Social Security is going to work its way out. They've got solutions for you. Online, premieriwm.com. Let's get into the first question for Elias from Cammie. Due to a series of recent emergency expenses, our emergency fund has dropped down to just shy of 1 month worth of expenses. We'll need about $28,000 to bring us back to 6 months worth of expenses. So to do that, we would need to lower our Roth 401k contributions for a while. Or we have $50K in a brokerage account we've been building as a bridge account so we can retire in our mid-50s. Which option do you think makes the most sense? This is something where, in a perfect world, you'd say, give me a call, 800-383-6590, and let's make that appointment.
In a perfect world, yeah, that would be what would happen. Couple thoughts here. Cammie, gold star for having an emergency fund. Remember gold stars from elementary school? Mm-hmm. Hard to get.
Yeah.
Easy to lose. So Cammie gets a gold star, one, for being prepared for emergencies, because this money that the family needed to spend for the emergency didn't come from a credit card. It didn't come from a home equity line of credit. It came from the appropriate account, the emergency fund, to pay for that. So you do get a gold star for that. Now, the question, how do we get this emergency fund built back up to 6 months of savings? And the options are pretty simple. And she outlined them in her question. Do I reduce my Roth 401k contributions, or potentially use the brokerage account that they're planning on living on when they retire in their mid-50s? So I would be a little cautious at reducing contributions to a Roth 401k when the money, you could replenish your emergency fund money with the brokerage account money, which would be a very simple fix. And then you start contributing to that again to get it built back up. And I don't think that would be an inappropriate use of this money. Does it reduce your bridge account that you're building up? It does. I do want to remind the listeners that Roth contributions can be taken out of an account without tax or penalty. So the money you add to a Roth, considered your contributions, that is not subject to tax or penalty. The growth in a Roth account is subject to tax and penalty. So there are ways to continue contributing, but not at the sacrifice of our long-term savings vehicle. And I want people to remember a couple things. This question, this is not a spending problem. They're clearly good.
Right.
Good with money.
Yeah.
And know how to be what I call an adult with their money, right? Because this isn't a spending problem. This is, how do we replenish our emergency fund? So I talked over a couple of the highlights of the decision. I think if they're working with a financial planning firm, that'd be a great opportunity to schedule a meeting and go talk. Let's talk through this scenario and what makes, because at the end of the day, the question is, which option do you think makes the most sense? Well, the option that makes the most sense in general may not be the option that makes the most sense to their family. So I'd really like to see them reach out to their financial professional to get some unique advice around this. But in general, they're doing a great job using the emergency fund appropriately. And at the end of the day, if you have to reduce retirement savings a little bit to accomplish shorter term and medium term goals with the idea that we're going to get the contribution rate back to where it should be. I've known people that have successfully executed strategies like that. It's not the end of the world, but that's not the first place I would look. The first place I would look is that, hey, I got this brokerage account. Well, let's put that to use now.
And the nice thing to know is that, I mean, first of all, we don't know how old they are, number one, but we know that they say they're the bridge account so we can retire in our mid-50s. If there's plenty of time between there and their mid-50s, they may be able to regain that. You know, if they replenish it and the markets treat it well, I mean, but that's all part of what you go to a professional for, so that they can sit down, you can go into your software program and work out some different scenarios to help them figure out. I think the biggest thing is that you're not just saying, hey, where's this money going to come from, but what can I do? How can I take advantage of this situation to now once again look at everything in a global perspective, my financial situation?
I'll add one more thought on this. Reducing, the other reason I'm not a big fan of reducing the retirement account contributions is we have set deadlines on retirement account contributions every year and maximum amounts, where the brokerage account is different. You can put in as much as you want and take out as much as you want at any time. Now, retirement accounts and a non-retirement account are treated differently for tax purposes. But that's the other reason I would caution from reducing Roth 401k contributions is once the year's over, you can't get that year back, where And the next year, you could add 50,000. You could add 100,000 to a brokerage account. There's no limit and there's no time limit on when the money can go in and out.
Gotcha.
So that's the other thing I would add on that.
Did you have a thought on this one for a second? Because I know you were doing some calculations, didn't know what you were looking at, or if you were thinking about this, or.
I did. I agree with Elias, because if you lower your contributions, people forget, and she might forget to increase those contributions the next year after the emergency fund is built up. So I like picking on the brokerage account, but fantastic job, because you could almost consider the brokerage account as a pseudo emergency fund at this point.
Yeah, it's liquids. And I like that. That's one of the things you have people do, is that you like them in a position where they have different piles of money that have different jobs to do. And that's one of the things that's cool about working with Premier Investments and Wealth Management, is that they're going to make sure that the money that you have is working for you in the ways that you need it to, when you need it to, because you know what? Sometimes life just throws you a curveball. I can tell you that myself. If you need to make sure that you're prepared, get in touch with my friends at Premier Investments and Wealth Management, 800-383-6590. Like Jonas here, question from Mike. My dad retired last year. He's now looking to buy a new car. The car he wants is about $50,000. He's trying to decide if he should pull the money from his IRA or finance it. He's got about $1.5 million in his IRA. The dealership offered him 0.99% over 7 years, and his financial advisor advised him to do that. What are your thoughts? Should he pay with cash or finance?
Thanks, Mike. First off, it sounds like your dad has done a great job. One thing that stands out is where the money would be coming from, and that would be a taxable account, an IRA account. And one of the things that you should look at is ultimately the way the financial markets are kind of working right now. Anytime you take money out of a taxable account, you're going to trigger, I would say, probably at least 10% in taxes. On the other hand, your dad has a $1.5 million IRA account. So if your dad just starts taking 4% out each month and withholds a little bit of taxes on that, that would be somewhere around $4,400 a month that he could put towards a car. I really like the fact of that the banks are loaning money, the dealerships are loaning money to people that have a great credit history. And in order for your dad to have a less than 1% loan offer like this, I would lean towards taking that 7-year note and then just making extra payments on it. Yeah. And it sounds like, Elias, this is one of those dilemmas that we see all the time, that people have done such a great job saving money in their 401ks. They have all of their money in taxable accounts. So they're calling us all the time and they're asking us, what's the best way to do it? And I've never advised people ripping out a lump sum and paying the taxes, because that could trigger, obviously, a big tax bill, but you could also raise your Medicare premiums in the future. We usually advise people just to spread it out on a monthly basis if they're going to start taking withdrawals from their retirement, their taxable accounts.
I think spreading it out is a good idea. I think taking out big chunks can lead to some extra taxes and extra Medicare premiums. Funny thing, I got this question actually this morning on my drive to work. Someone sent me a message, hey, will you give me a call? So they have close to 0.99. They're looking at 0% interest financing. I would say these debt questions, a lot of times, regardless of the math on it, these questions to me have a lot more to do with that person and their relationship with money. So someone who's very debt averse, they don't care if the interest rate is 0. Yeah. They just don't want any debt.
To go to sleep with debt.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, this particular person they're new. I haven't been working with them very long. So new. So I don't understand all the moving parts of their decision making yet. So I actually recommended this. I said, well, why would you take the loan? I know it's interest free, but you can just take it out and pay for it. I really wanted to hear what they would say more than what's my answer yet. And their feedback was they're comfortable having that interest-free debt. It's not going to bother them. So in that case, it's a very reasonable thing to do. And you're going to save some money on taxes by spreading that out over 7 years as opposed to a big distribution in 1 year or 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you said that, because it is a financial burden, especially for baby boomers that have probably been out of debt for a long time, to take on any new debt. It doesn't make them feel too well, but obviously when you get offers like these, and we're figuring out the best way to take money out for people all the time. And one story that I had a customer. He actually drives cars part-time for a dealership. And, of course, when it's quiet, the salespeople come up to him and said, "Hey, Dave, it's probably time for you to upgrade your car." So he wanted to jump on something and do business with the place that hires him to drive cars. And we're just taking extra money out of his retirement accounts so he can pay this thing off in probably 1.5 to 2 years. And we did the same thing for a couple that wanted to upgrade their cabin. They have a very nice cabin, but they have an unfinished basement, and their family is growing to where they have in-laws that want to stay over at the cabin. So they want a finished basement, and we were able to set up a payment strategy for this family to where they could take a loan out, build their cabin basement, and they're going to have a vacation spot really for the rest of their retirement, and they plan on leaving it for their kids. They were able to finance it at a clip that was very reasonable. I think it was somewhere around less than 6% for a construction loan, which I thought that was very, very reasonable. So there's a way to do this. We're not in the business of telling people just save money forever and die, go to your grave with a bunch of money. There's definitely some nice strategies and ways we can make people get their money out.
Yeah, and a Premier Investments in Wealth Management, other thing to remember too is that with something they said in the middle of there that kind of stuck with me, and maybe you heard it too, you got a lot of people who have maybe some tax issues because all the money that they're taking out in their retirement is now taxable money. If you are heavy like that and you want to make sure that you have something that's a little bit more balanced so that you don't have the tax burdens, maybe that's not the only thing you're thinking about, but you need to have a financial professional you can count on to make sure that everything is good. PremierIWM.com, search Rothification on their Rothification and find out more about what they can do to help you ameliorate, mitigate, avoid some of the tax issues that are out there, if that's what you're thinking about. Premier Investments in Wealth Management website, again, PremierIWM.com. Get the one-page Premier Vision document or call 800-383-6590. Premier Investments in Wealth Management, named Forbes 2026 Best in State Wealth Management Teams. Question for the both of you. Jonas, I'm going to go to you first with Chance. Take a chance. Chance asks, what are your personal finance hot takes or a piece of common advice you don't agree with? Mine is that you don't need an emergency fund to be financially successful.
Why did you come to me first, Doug?
Because it's a emergency fund.
Oh, Chance, I would love to sit down with you and talk about this. I have numerous stories about people that have had unexpected situations come up, and they lost their job, and they needed an emergency fund to fall back on. My niece kind of stands out in particular. She was a dental hygienist. She went to school for it. Loved her job. Did a very great job at her work. She was unfortunately in a slow-moving accident, hit by a drunk driver in the middle of the daytime in her vehicle, Doug. And physically, she was okay. But mentally, vision-wise, she couldn't study the x-rays anymore to be a dental hygienist.
Oh, wow.
So she was given an offer she got an attorney and was able to get a settlement at that point. That settlement is probably half the way gone, and she lost her career over it. So ultimately, Chance, I would say that that's one financially way to do it is to not have an emergency fund, but you are increasing your risk substantially in the event that you're ultimately saying in your life right now that nothing is going to change ever in what you're doing.
Gotcha. Now, what's your financial hot take?
Oh, my financial.
Yeah, what's your financial
hot take?
Now that we've excoriated chance.
Okay, every time we're in the in a boom stock market like we are right now, I always have people call me up and they want to talk about the next hot stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you buying? Are you buying
tech stock?
Lunar Z? I can't name the name of that.
Yeah. Are you buying tech stock? Are you buying manufacturing stock?
So let's just put a end to it right now. If you want to be a day trader, buy individual stocks. If you want to be a long-term investor, then you can buy managed accounts. You can buy diversified portfolios. Do you want to buy needles or do you want to buy haystacks?
Yeah.
And you can be successful with both. But I think it's a lot easier to sleep at night if you own haystacks. Yeah. So that's my financial
The other one you said pallets, and that's the one that got me is because, I'm a big fan of those big boxes.
You love those pallets.
I love the pallets. And if they did a pallet that said, hey, there's a pallet with all sorts of stuff on it, it costs this much, I'll buy it. I don't even care what's on it. I buy it just because.
Your privacy fence is made out of pallets. I drove by your house the other day. You love those bundles and pallets. And I love the haystacks.
My bed frame, too, as a matter of fact. All right, Elias, you heard what Chance said. You heard what Jonas said. What is your financial hot take that you think maybe some people kind of go, ooh?
The 4% withdrawal rate is too conservative. There's a lot of people out there that would disagree with me on that. And it's one of the most commonly followed pieces of advice that exist in our business. And I think it's a good rule of thumb. Rules of thumb doesn't mean good for your personal situation. It means it's in general a good idea. I do think it's too conservative. I think people run the risk of underspending and under-enjoying their retirement dollars, subscribing to that. I think it does get you on the right path, but what I like to see people do is create an income strategy designed for their unique goals, their values, and their retirement.
And you didn't ask me, Chance, but I'm going to give you mine, and it's this. I have a friend who is he is so good at everything. The guy is an incredible driver. He is an incredible fix-it guy. He knows micro fix-it to macro fix-it. He does everything, and he does this for himself, and he does it for everybody. And he's got a job, and then he's got a family business, and he does all these things. You know what? The one thing he doesn't have is any time anymore. Just doesn't have time. The reason he doesn't have time is because rather than allowing professionals to do this, he's taking what I would call the minimum of his time at $125 an hour, and he is doing things like fixing his sink, he's fixing his sprinkler system, he's fixing a lawnmower, he's putzing around. I mean, again, great guy. But the thing is that the time value of the money value of his time, he's not calculating properly. The hot take is this. You should have professionals take care of things for you that professionals do. I'm not going to take my tooth out. I'm not going to take my appendix out. I'm not going to have Jonas take my appendix out. Nothing against you. But the point is that he's here because this is what they do, wealth advising. Okay, you have professionals to do that. Count on the professionals to do it because that's what they're trained to do. That's what they do. They've got hundreds of customers. They've dealt with thousands of people at Premier Investments in Wealth Management, just like your doctor, your dentist, your lawyer, your priest, your rabbi, whomever. Let the professionals handle it, okay? Because that's what they're trained to do. You, my friend, are not. Let them do it. Get in touch with Premier Investments in Wealth Management, premieriwm.com. Click Get Started, answer a few questions. They'll provide for you a one-page Premier Vision document, and they'll provide for you one-page document and a free meeting to go with that document. So they'll explain it to you, and then you can take it away, and you can become a client of theirs. PremierIWM.com, or you can call today, 800-383-6590. Get the professionals at Premier Investments and Wealth Management on your side, named to Forbes 2026 Best in State Wealth Management Teams. Heading over to Mr. Patriotic. By the way, I love the stars and stripes.
Thank you, Doug.
Too. It's really nice. I didn't notice it until
my flag fell down in the background.
Yeah,
taped to the wall.
Yeah,
so.
I noticed that because you're carrying the standard on that shirt. So thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate that. And I'm sure Valerie will too. She's got the next question for you. Valerie says, "I'm 52. I've never put much thought into retirement. I've saved consistently in my 401k since I started working. I started contributing 5%. I've continually increased that over the years as my income has increased. However, I'm getting nervous as I've seen multiple people in my life retire for a year or two and then go back to work because they don't have enough money. I read on Google that you should have 30 times your annual salary in your savings. I'm only about 60% of the way there. How do I know if I need to be saving more or if I will be okay in retirement?" Jonas?
Thanks, Valerie. It's important to recognize that rules of thumb, like we said, are just starting points. But here's what stands out to me. You're doing a great job just thinking about retirement right now. And it sounds like you're trying to get more educated about retirement. So one of the things that you can do is get more educated about retirement. One of the reasons I wrote a book called Upside Down Retirement was people were unsure if they had enough money to retire. And I'll give you a couple examples. I'll walk you through maybe a pre-retirement meeting that we'll have, Doug. And we look at different income sources. Mm-hmm. And we ask a couple of really neat questions before people retire. Yeah. Number one, walk me through the first year in retirement. What does it look like for you?
Makes sense.
And people usually have that pegged pretty well. The second one about the income that they'll need is I ask them point blank, how much money are you spending when you're not working? How much money are you spending on the weekend right now? Because everybody's different. Mm-hmm. If you look at my next door neighbors, their backyard looks like a grotto. It looks like they have two hot tubs and a pool and a duck pond, and they have workers over there. They're bringing in trees all the time. They have booms and backhoes, and
I got a neighbor, same thing.
So they love spending money on their backyard, and that's perfectly fine. That's great, but that requires some money, some output. And I'll give you an example. I had a pre-retirement meeting with some great customers, and the husband and wife came in, and I asked the wife, I said, well, how much do you want to look at for a monthly income? And she said, well, let's look at $10,000 a month. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll look at $10,000 a month. And I said, well, before I punch the numbers in on this, Ken, did you bring me that homework assignment that I gave you? And that homework assignment was how much money are you spending when you're not working each month? And he added on a little slip of paper, and it wasn't $10,000 a month. It was $1,800 a month.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I said, let's be realistic about the math here, because I kind of just got to know you a little bit. And if we're realistic about the math, Valerie, and you get a financial plan done, I think that's going to make you feel a lot better. And I think that ultimately it's all about education. Education, if you can get educated about this stuff, that's the best investment that you can make. And this is a perfect time for you to get educated or get a financial plan done at age 52. But the fact that you're just starting to think about it right now and asking very intelligent questions and doing some research right now, I'm really excited for you, because I think that you can hammer some really good retirement plans out.
Education, inspiration, that's really what it comes down to with Premier Investments and Wealth Management. Some of the intangibles, like Elias said earlier, you know what? Every financial firm is going to have the investments. What it comes down to is educating you as a client, as a saver, as an investor, as a spender. Heck, as somebody who is just preparing for retirement, trying to get your kids ready for college, whatever it is, and inspiring you to take positive action on something. At Premier Investments and Wealth Management, they can help you. PremierIWM.com, that's the website. Click on Get Started, answer a few questions. They'll provide for you a one-page Premier Vision document and a free no-obligation meeting. They'll come to you. You can come to them, or you can meet on the internet somewhere. Heck, they might even meet you at a coffee shop if you want to. PremierIWM.com, or make your appointment by calling 800-383-6590. Premier Investments and Wealth Management named Forbes 2026 Best in State Wealth Management Team. Question for both of you. I'm going to come to you first, Jonas, with Ellie, who says, I'm 20 and I want to start investing into a Roth IRA. I'm completely new to this and I want to set myself up for success. Any tips?
Great, Ellie. The fact, again, that you're thinking about it, and if you ever become a customer, you're going to bring our average age down by about 40 years. So please sign up with us. This would be fantastic. You have so much time on your side. Again, we talked about my go-to what do you call it, a hot take?
Hot take, yeah.
So you need to decide at 20, are you going to look for the needles? Or are you going to look for individual stocks? And do you want to be a day trader, and do you want to look at the stuff all the time? Or do you want to look for the haystacks and just kind of put things on cruise control? One word of advice at age 20, it's all about your contribution rate. Really doesn't matter what you do as long as you're not putting it in cash the whole time. If you can start off with a 10% contribution rate, that would be fantastic at your age. You have so much time on your side.
That's awesome. Again, 20 years old. I mean, you see kids this age when you're officiating college football games. You think they're thinking about a Roth IRA when they're out there?
Hopefully not during the game.
Yeah.
Well, Elias is chasing them down with the prospectus during halftime. So
that's great.
Here are my tips for young people. Get started. Automate your contributions. Increase your contributions over time. If you do those things and you also pick good diversified investments, don't chase trends, don't go off hot stock tips, buy either mutual funds or exchange traded funds, things that have long track records of being successful, that are simple to understand. And at a young age, doing those basic things correctly is 80% of the battle. You get that dialed in, your money has time to grow. You can contribute a little bit more as you go through time. Those would be my biggest tips for young people. Get started, automate, and then consistently increase the contributions.
Is it something where, this is really an unusually young age to get active in things like that. And, that they're saying a Roth IRA, and there's a lot of other moving parts. There's a lot of other gears that are in this motor that's working at the same time. I mean, this is something where, it's really kind of a smart thing because they're going to could develop a really in-depth knowledge about investing just by getting in this early and seeing the way that everything works from the inside, sort of.
I think the best time to get started was yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you're 20 and getting started today, that's pretty good too.
I really like the fact, guys, that she is talking about a savings strategy, an investment strategy, instead of what's the hot stock to buy at age 20.
Exactly. That's a good call. I like that. Elias, I'm to come to you for question number 7 here. Travis wants to know, I recently left my job. I have $950,000 in my old 401k. My financial advisor is recommending that I roll it into an IRA that they would manage for a 1.25% or 1.25% advisory fee. I know I also have the option of leaving it where it is or rolling it into an IRA that I manage myself. How do people need to evaluate these options? Beyond just comparing fees, what should people think about when they're deciding whether it's worth paying for professional management versus managing their own retirement savings?
A good starting place is to ask yourself, what value am I receiving in return for the fee? So the cheapest option isn't always the best, right? And we've all heard that old saying, you get what you pay for. So in that case, if you opt to do the cheapest option, which would be managing your money for yourself, Do you have the time, the desire, the technology? Do you have all those things required to do a good job? And remember, you're going to get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that there are certainly people out there who are very efficient and good at managing their own money. Now, the most expensive option doesn't always automatically mean that that's the best option either. So the question is, what value am I receiving in return? And I believe in the way we run our firm here, Premier Investments, I believe people should be getting advice around wealth accumulation, advice around wealth preservation. And these are all different things that come up throughout different times of your investing journey. But it shouldn't just be that you get, here's a one-time way to invest your money. Mm-hmm. You should get ongoing advice. You should get ongoing income planning, tax strategy planning, Roth conversion planning, Social Security strategy planning, all the moving parts that go into this. You should be able to receive advice on through the firm you're working with. And if you ask the question, what value am I receiving and am I receiving in return for the fee? You should start to quantify if that's worth it to you. Mm-hmm. I think fortunately for us, the vast majority of our clients do believe they're receiving the right value for the fee that they're paying. And part of that is because we're doing all the work in every aspect of their life financially, not just, oh, here's one way that you could invest your money.
Yep. Jonas, you got your thought guns out. You're shooting.
Yeah, really, the good news is thanks to the computer and the microchip, the cost of investing has gone down considerably. So I use the big screen TV analogy. My brother Scott bought a big screen TV about 15 years ago. My other brother Jason and I, it took us about 2 hours to mount it on the wall because it was 300 pounds. Now you walk into Walmart or Sam's, and what do you see, Doug, right there?
Very thin, inexpensive.
Yeah, very inexpensive.
Like 20 pounds, yeah.
So the cost of investing, there's $43 trillion in retirement accounts right now. You have the banks, you have the investment companies, insurance companies competing for these dollars. So like Elias said, if you get stuff for free, you're going to have to do it yourself. So there has to be a happy medium on what type of fee that is paid. But the cost of investing has gone down so much that usually you can get it done for, I would think, around that level or maybe even less.
Yeah. Call for your appointment. Here's the deal. This is the kind of relationship you have with your friends at Premier Investments and Wealth Management. My friends, and they could be your friends, and you could be one of their clients as well. The whole thing is if you have a wealth advisor already, go ahead. Come on over, talk to them, take them for a spin, kick the tires, figure out just exactly what's going on. It's not a bad thing. And Travis, I think that one thing that Jonas leaned into and Elias leaned into is the idea here that there's room to grow within an organization. And I think that that's something that you'll be able to find at Premier Investments and Wealth Management is that they're tailored for what you want, okay? This is an issue that you have that is yours specifically and yours alone. It's like fingerprint. Premier Investments and Wealth Management will be able to help you with that at 800-383-6590. So thank you for the question, Travis. Final question for the both of you. I'm going to go to Jonas first. Tom wants to know, I'm 53, recently rediscovered the 401k I had for my very first job. It has just over $12,000 in it. I honestly thought I had already rolled it over in a different 401k, so I didn't think about it again. The amount hasn't been used or considered in any of our retirement calculations. I have about $2.8 million saved for retirement between my wife and me. I'm thinking about just cashing out the $12,000 using it to take my wife on her dream trip to Paris for our upcoming 25th anniversary. Since it's such a small percentage of my overall retirement savings, is that a reasonable decision, or is cashing out an old investment retirement account still a bad idea? Jonas.
I would say great job, Tom. One way to think about it is that if you're cashing out something and it's coming with tax consequences, if you look at what things are paying right now, You have liquid CDs at 3.3%. You have bond portfolios that are sometimes perhaps paying higher than that. You have a boom in the stock market right now. And for whatever reason, it's really weird right now. Cash is paying 0. Mm-hmm. So I always say cash is, he wants to take a trip. Is that what he wants to do?
Yep, take his wife.
I always say cash is king for trips for you, or if you're not using your cash for trips, the banker's using your cash for trips. So in other words, the banks are making so much money right now, paying 0% on cash. So I would look at it this way. Do you have a built-in bucket strategy? Do you have some cash sitting around? The minimum probably tax rate that you would have taking out $12,000, you'd probably have to pay about $1,200 or 10% in taxes on that. If you have something making 0 that you could use, if you have a cash bucket, I would start there first. But this is a perfect example, I'll kick it over to Elias, of mental accounting. I see it all the time. People treat piles of money completely differently. They find an old 401k. They don't worry about the tax consequences. They just cash it out because they didn't know they had it. Or they get an inheritance, a huge inheritance, a big inheritance, and they just feel awful about it. They don't want to spend the money. It's a perfect example of mental accounting. And this is what we walk people through. We try to help them with as financial advisors, that it's easy to do this mental accounting thing, but there's also math involved as well.
Before we get to that portion, first of all, am I off? If I got an inheritance, I'm not sure I'd feel guilty about spending the money. I mean,
everybody's different.
Okay,
you say that, but a lot of people do.
Okay,
when people inherit money.
Yeah,
here's the craziest thing about it to me is inherited money sometimes becomes more important than their own money.
Really?
Yeah, they don't want to spend it. They get emotionally attached. My parents worked hard for this, so I don't want to ruin it.
Okay.
Inheritance is one of the, in my opinion, an odd topic in our business and people's emotional attachment to it. Because it's no longer your parents' money. It is now yours.
Right.
Like it's in your pile.
Yeah. But
a lot of times they want it separated to track it.
Gotcha.
Don't want to spend it.
No, I understand. Yeah, I understand now. That makes sense. Okay, Tom's question wants to know about this whole thing, the $12,000 in surprise money that he has compared to $2.5 million, they're $2.8 million they've got saved for retirement. That's a pretty good little nest egg.
I do have an answer for this. Yes, that is a bad idea.
Okay.
Although it's a small account and not, it is a small account. It's not a meaningful amount of money for someone with $2.8 million saved. Here's the reality of it. If you cash out a 401k, a couple things are going to happen. At 53 years old, you will have a 10% IRS penalty. 401k withdrawals have mandatory withholding of 20% for federal taxes. So there you go. Your $12,000 account. Here's what I would ask Tom. Tom, if you had $12,000 in your hand right now, would you give me 30% of it and then take the remaining 70%, take it to Paris with your wife on a vacation and spend it? That's essentially what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you do this. So I do think it's a bad idea. It's very easy to do a rollover and get it consolidated with your other accounts and your other money. So I do think, although it is a small amount for this person, I do think it's a bad idea to cash out the 401k.
Picture $3,600 of $100 bills in a shoebox in the corner, Doug. You'd move faster than Carl Lewis to grab the first one to get it, gets it. You've moved faster than Carl Lewis. So, yeah, there's a better way to do this, but it's perfectly understandable, Tom. It goes back to mental accounting. You didn't know you had this account, so why not just cash it out? But to pay $3,600.
You wouldn't take $12,000 out of the bank and then just take $3,600 and burn it on and set it on fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a good point you make about the mental accounting, because we all do that, and that's what he's doing here. Oh, I forgot I had this.
That's
I'll just cash out. Yeah. He's not really thinking through the reality of it.
You know what he's thinking about? I want to take care of my wife. I want to make her happy.
Yeah, he wants to go on
her.
vacation.
Yeah.
He wants to get rid of this account that's been floating out there.
By the way, Jonas, thank you for not saying Jesse Owens, because that would have made me feel really old. You said Carl Lewis. It'd show my real age. That's Jonas Everett. That's Elias Randel. They are just two of the folks at Premier Investments in Wealth Management. That they are wealth advisors, and they are ready, willing, and more than able to help you and your people, because you're individuals, you're a team. You're trying to get to retirement. You're trying to get your investments ready for that, for your children's education, for maybe a dream purchase you have in the future, maybe this vacation or something like that for an anniversary. Let my friends at Premier Investments in Wealth Management help you do that. Go to their website, premieriwm.com, click Get Started, answer a few questions, get a one-page Premier Vision document. They'll hand it to you. Literally, it's one page, and it's a roadmap for your financial future, and they'll go over it with you in a free, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to you, you can come to them, or you can meet somewhere on the internet. Get this done. The sooner, the better. Hey, we're going to get to be the dog days of summer soon. Do it then, because it's a perfect time. PremierIWM.com, or you can call to make your appointment, 800-383-6590. Premier Investments in Wealth Management named it Forbes 2026 Best in State Wealth Management Team for Jonas Everett and the new sheriff in town, Elias Randel. My name is Doug Wagner. Thank you for participating. We'll be back again with you soon.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. The opinions voiced in this show are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Premier Investments in Wealth Management and LPL Financial do not provide specific individualized tax or legal advice. We suggest that you discuss your specific situation with a qualified tax or legal advisor. Rebalancing a portfolio may cause investors to incur tax liabilities and or transaction costs, and does not assure a profit or protect against loss. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful. All performance referenced is historical and is not a guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. There is no assurance that the techniques and strategies discussed are suitable for all investors or will yield positive outcomes. The purchase of certain securities may be required to affect some of the strategies. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal. There is no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. Dollar cost averaging involves continuous investment in securities, regardless of fluctuations in price levels. Investors should consider their ability to continue purchasing through periods of low price levels. Such a plan does not assure a profit and does not protect against loss in declining markets. Contributions to a traditional IRA may be tax deductible in the contribution year, with current income tax due at withdrawal. Withdrawals prior to age 59.5 may result in a 10% IRS penalty tax in addition to current income tax. A Roth IRA offers tax deferral on any earnings in the account. Qualified withdrawals of earnings from the account are tax-free. Withdrawals of earnings prior to age 59.5 or prior to the account being open for 5 years, whichever is later, may result in a 10% IRS penalty tax. Limitations and restrictions may apply. A plan participant leaving an employer typically has 4 options and may engage in a combination of these options, each choice offering advantages and disadvantages. Those options include leave the money in their former employer's plan, if permitted, roll over the assets to their new employer's plan, if one is available, and rollovers are permitted, roll over to an IRA, or cash out the account value. Forbes' Best in State Wealth Management Team's ranking was developed by Shook Research and is based on in-person, virtual, and telephone due diligence meetings, and a ranking algorithm that includes a measure of each team's best practices, client retention, industry experience, review of compliance records, firm nominations, and quantitative criteria, including assets under management and revenue generated for their firm. Investment performance is not a criterion because client objectives and risk tolerances vary, and advisors rarely have audited performance reports. Shook's research and rankings provide opinions intended to help investors choose the right financial advisor and team, and are not indicative of future performance or representative of any one client's experience. Past performance is not an indication of future results. Neither Forbes nor Shook Research receive compensation in exchange for placement on the ranking. For more information, please see www.shookresearch.com. Shook is a registered trademark of Shook Research, LLC.